We're live.
Just as good as I do every week. It's pissing me off.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, do not let your ears deceive you. It is a late Friday night, and we are doing a VWP actual weekend review. We are obviously joined by Adam Rice as our guest, but as always, my co-hosts in crime are AA and Matt. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, everyone.
I don't know that you just skipped right over me like that, but it's okay.
Well, no, it's hard to skip over you.
Shut up.
Shut up. Just shut up. So, how was everybody's week?
It's been going pretty well.
Got busy towards the end of it, but no, can't complain.
That's what she said.
You know what? I don't know whoever this she is. She sure talks a lot.
Hey, I know you've had we talked a little bit about it Thursday. Some things going on. How's everything on your end?
Everything on my end is going pretty good right now.
Wow. Okay, then.
Even my Twitch, I'm hoping, is gonna go okay.
And my phone just decided to do my phone things.
Phone things.
So yeah,
phone things.
That was the weirdest introduction ever. But yeah, back to business. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm not saying, I'm just Mox with Metal Matt, Ambrose Alley, as always. And no, you haven't been that drunk long enough that it's not still Wednesday, it's Friday. And one of the very special guests that we always love having on, Adam, don't call me Roni Rice. I wanted to use a Browns reference there and
decided against it halfway.
Yes. Can we try this again? We're live, pal.
Sorry, Sid, you can't do it again.
It's already on the books.
Anything can happen here on VWB.
Yes, this is yeah. We're out of time. The cameras are rolling. Click.
And folks, we're out of time.
Be sure to tune in next week. We'll keep the cameras rolling.
Do we have to keep the cameras rolling?
Well, by late 99, you wanted WCW to turn the cameras off during the show. Those of you who are too young to get that reference.
Oh, we got it. We're just going to segue right out of it.
I think
Matt,
more jump out of it than segue.
Abandoned thread.
Hit the button.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize people and never mind. Matt, Adam, AA, and I spoke a little bit about this already to some degree, but let's start with Raw. What did you guys think about Raw?
It was better than last week, I guess, but it's not really saying much. I mean, it was slightly better, but they still really need to improve on it.
After the debacle that was last week's Raw, you can't get any worse. Knock on wood. But this week they tried to open up better. They opened up with the women, which I think is a good step, because they're the only things worth watching on this show since Roman's been out. So, credit where credit is due. They did improve, but that's sort of damning with faint praise.
I
didn't watch.
Well,
I
we
just
know.
heard about it.
You want to get into for the folks that didn't listen to us last time, do you want to get into your storyline?
Oh, I already ran it once.
Ran again.
Now, why would I want to rant again? I'm not in a ranting mood.
Oh, well, we love ranting AA.
I really don't rant.
I know, that's why we love it so much, because I rant a lot. Matt rants a little, and you seldom rant, so.
I'm an easygoing kind of person.
What are you trying to say, AA?
Just that I'm an easygoing kind of person.
I am too, but when you fuck up a storyline as easy as Dean and Seth, like, yeah, you're gonna push my buttons a little bit. Dead silence.
Dead silence.
I mean,
You're trying to talk me into that rant, aren't you?
Yep, I know how to goad you.
Well, you still gotta goad me some more.
Okay. So how do you feel about? Because even if you didn't watch, you've seen clips and you've seen pictures. The freaking the nuclear.
The gas mask thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking that they ruined a good character.
Yeah, they basically made him Koopa from the Super Mario movie. But him being all germophobic.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Because that's not how his characters ever come across.
Right.
Oh. And
if
see,
anything,
I think
it's better with the glove germs.
They ruined Koopa from Mario Brothers. They ruined the little kid from Doctor Who, the mummy thing. They ruined Bane. Oh, but you meant Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
They ruined the hotel owner from Bedtime Stories that we would have Sandler.
Nice. That one I hadn't heard.
They just ruined. To me that segment almost felt. I mean, I know this is obvious, but that segment felt intentional. Like, we're going to come out here and intentionally do something inane.
An analogy I just came up with on my own. It's like your neighbor's dog just took a shit in your yard, and your neighbor picks that shit up, walks through your front door, and puts that shit in the middle of your living room floor. Okay, the dog shitting, you can't help where a dog shits. The owner of that dog picking it up, bringing it into your house, leaving it in your house, and walking away, that was intentionally like, fuck you. Like, I really don't like you.
And once again, this is WWE being 10 years too late with the reference.
Yes.
Bane? Really? And it's not even. He is in an army surplus store gas mask with a probably $50 fur jacket or whatever the hell that was. And he's out here acting like he's a character from a movie that's 10 years old. Talk about WWE being hip.
This is caution to your strength, Batman.
I was
When I-
born in the darkness. All Dean had to start doing was literally start. I was born in the darkness. I was shaped by it, molded by it. You merely adopted it. If he was 2 seconds away from starting to quote the movie, which
Yeah, he didn't even.
Good.
It's just baffling. Like he didn't even. This whole.
They've
it's
taken
gone.
all the steam out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something it's a feud now I don't want to watch.
Yeah. It's just. And that's sad to say, and for AI especially. Like next.
Especially coming
Nope.
from me.
Yeah. Like it's. Nope. Not interested.
And literally, in the span of a month, they went from that uber hot ending on Raw, the night Roman had to walk away, to where we are now. And they did it in a month.
It went downhill from Dean bringing up Roman's cancer, and he has to answer to
Yeah,
God.
don't remind me.
Yeah, exactly. And there was no writing that course, and not only whatever you want to call it. If they're trying to steer into that wrong, my 9-year-old could steer into that skid better than what they're trying to do, because it went off the rails right away, right then.
I don't think they're trying to steer into it. As a matter of fact, I believe they doubled down.
Well, then, yeah, I see that too, and it just doesn't work. It's fallen so flat again that they have a match at TLC. Oh, I didn't remember.
I have a question for the class.
Put them on the fucking kickoff show and get it the fuck over with. That's how I feel about where they've gone with this feud. Just put them on the kickoff show. Fuck it.
Yeah, I have a question for the class, and maybe I'm crazy to think this, but this is our second crack at Seth and Dean in a feud.
Yeah.
The first
third, really. Now think about it,
yeah,
because it was post Shield split. Then it was when Seth won the WWE title after this was around Money in the Bank or so. Now it's the third time.
I just want to ask the question: are these guys just not compatible in the ring?
No.
They are. They are.
I
It's
think they're
proven.
compatible. I think they're compatible. They've had some good matches together. They just don't have the right creative for it.
What took them out the first time were the wrong alignments and the bad promo writing. What's taking them out this time is... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that one of the problems with the first time was that they never let Ambrose win a match against Seth.
That too.
Well, it also doesn't help that, he, around that time that Dean was working with Seth, he also ended up working with Brock, and they did that stupid chairs match that ended up being really kind of killed Dean for a good second there, because they brought in all those hardcore legends. Terry Funk handed him a chainsaw, and Dean ends up losing in the fashion that he did in that lackluster match. I just don't think, when it comes to Seth and Dean, I understand the ingredients are there, but so far the ingredients haven't mixed.
Well, that's because creative hasn't let them. If you go back and look at their feud in FCW, it was hot and it was intense.
But here's I get that, but at the end of the day, you know going into any feud that creative is probably going to drop the ball. And that hasn't, and sometimes that has stopped it, things from working out, and sometimes you've been able to surpass it. I look at Dean and Seth as being two guys who should be able to overcome any situation. Now, granted, bringing up another man's cancer into a storyline is going to derail anything you try to work towards. But even still, I would have hoped that these two guys would be, just being the talents they are, would have been able to salvage something. But the fact that they haven't really leads me to ask the question. They're great tag partners, but as far as opponents go, here we are, the third go round, and we got nothing again.
Well, this time, the third time's not the charm.
No.
Yeah. Des Moines put a Rusev. Oh Lord, gift. Yeah, this isn't, and this is what I think AA and I have been talking about since before there was even a podcast, or a VWP podcast. Like, man, because they are, and I brought up the other day, and I've been bringing it up since all the bullshit the last month. Give them 10, 15 minutes, literally just Kobe Lopez and John Good in the locker room. Hey, I got to do this promo. You got to do this promo. Hey, we got to do this interaction. We've got to wrestle this match. If they just literally just let the reins off, like they are creative in this situation, dude, they would blow the roof off the joint. It would be just for reasons like Becky, and holy hell, the Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose feud is fire.
We know they could. It's just that we also know that
they can't.
They can't.
Not on their own device. Just the last thing we needed to see was this brutal Dean heel turn. And oh look, we still have hot dog cart pushing goofy Dean fucking Ambrose.
I believe WWE believes they are presenting Dean in the way he's always been presented. Even though we know better, and that what the John, he's not being John Moxley. We know that. But I think the WWE thinks they are giving us John Moxley in their sanitized environment. And it's like, and it's just not working.
Not at all. And if that's what people that are writing this shit think, hey, you know what's violent? Being at a doctor's office and getting a shot in the ass. You know what's violent? Showing up in a gas mask and becoming a germaphobe. That's cutting edge. Like, dude, you need a different job.
Well, of course they need a different job, but of course they get the right for the WWE. So we come off of that, and really, is there anything else really with Raw that you want to comment on? Well, I do have some I definitely want to comment on.
Way to answer your own question.
Well, I didn't really think about it until I asked the question. Why is Dolph Ziggler a babyface again?
Oh, no. I'll one up you on that bullshit. Why the fuck, since Drew McIntyre's return, is he, for the first time on the main roster, pinned clean by Dolph Ziggler. But why the fuck are we also doing a Dolph Ziggler turn again? What the fuck is that about? Why? I don't mind Drew losing because I do not like undefeated streaks and monsters and like get it over with, and that way you can't harp on it for months or a year. They've never been pinned. They're undefeated. Blah blah blah. Get that shit over with. Like that way you can focus on something else. But why the fuck do it like this? Why?
And let's see, Taker's Minion just popped up because they can do that whenever they want to.
Well, obviously no fucking shit. But does it make sense? No. Does it help anybody's story? No.
Well, I think the WWE is confused because I think they think the heel needs to have a come-uppance moment to be able to get his revenge. No. Drew is what? A legit 6'7"? 6'8"? He's jacked to the gills. He's a halfway decent promo. Let the guy go out there and get heat.
On his own.
On his own. I can deal with babyface Dolph Ziggler. You know why? Because babyface Dolph Ziggler always manages to fizzle out.
Whoa. I'm going to have to correct you here. Let's strike out babyface. Dolph Ziggler always manages to fizzle out.
True. So any feud that those two were to get in, I mean, Drew should go over. But the fact that you're giving let's think about this in the most logical booking terms. They gave us the feud, the match, the physicality, and the result all in one night. So where in the hell are we supposed to go from here?
Okay, say a random Thorn got set up somebody's ass and like, hey, I just don't want Drew to win tonight. Fucking put Finn Balor over him.
Yes, if you're going to give Drew his, if you're going to have Drew's shoulders to the mat, have it be Finn. Have it be someone the fans are already behind.
Yes,
yeah, and not only that, do it at a pay-per-view.
Yes, don't
True.
WWE has this nasty habit of giving away things on Raw.
Drew being pinned for the first time being back should have been on pay-per-view. But given the circumstance that it happened on Raw, do not give a rub that doesn't exist for a person that can't get a rub because it's Drew fucking or Dolph fucking Ziggler. Do not give it to him. Give it to Finn. Somebody that could use it. And you're working this stupid Corbin GM. Have it where it shits on both of them of not only did Finn get put in a match he wasn't prepared for against Drew, but it was set up by Baron, and have Finn pin him clean 1, 2, 3, and everybody gets a rub. You get a rub from Finn pinning Drew. You get a rub to Drew and Corbin for, oh shit, we're not as good or as uppity authority as we thought we were. Like, oh, and then you also have an underlying thing going forward of Drew remembering that Baron put him in that match and Drew lost. Like, it's not that hard to book this shit. I'm literally at midnight at night doing this shit off the top of my head. Like, come on.
As our friends over at Two Guys One Sport like to say, wrestling isn't hard. WWE just makes it that way. So, I mean, and also, Why are we doing Authority Angle number 6,275 with Baron Corbin and Alexa Bliss now?
Yeah. Oh. Talk amongst yourself. I'll be right back.
I mean, we are seeing another Authority Angle. Why is this the well they always choose to go to?
Because they think they can capture the lightning in the bottle again, like they did with Stone Cold and Vince.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's like I can see why they're doing it because Austin McMahon was one of, if not the most profitable feud in not even just WWE history, wrestling history in general. And I can see why they do that. But you need a good face to play off said heel. And they don't really have any of that. And you also need a good heel to counter the face, and they don't have that either.
Let me ask you guys this. I mean, let's look at the ingredients of that Authority Angle. Is there a babyface on this roster that is as good at everything he did as Steve Austin?
Becky Lynch.
Besides Becky Lynch, you mark. Besides Becky Lynch.
Iconics, obviously.
Okay. You hit your mute button.
Yeah.
Alex.
Okay,
Time
Figure's
for 5 minutes.
opinion just said that Baron is not a good heel at all. He just gets go away heat.
Yeah,
Figure's
I
right.
think so.
But like I was just trying, to the reasonable people in the room, Allie, is there anybody on this roster who could match what Steve Austin brought to the table?
No.
Mox, is there anybody on this roster that could match what Steve Austin brought to the table?
To answer a question without a flat out no or sarcastic Matt response.
I wasn't being sarcastic. I was
We
being
know
Well,
that's the problem.
Yeah, I could see now in comparison to Steve Austin, like that's a very high bar to set.
And that's my point. That bar is so high. The fact that they keep continuing to go to this Authority well, completely ignoring the fact that they had the greatest, the biggest babyface / anti-hero, that wrestling's ever seen, going one-on-one with, and here's the second part of the question, is there anybody on the roster that can match the heel Vince McMahon character?
Oh, hell no.
No, that's you're in two questions, and I know you didn't mean it like this, but in two questions, you're asking about 4 to 6 questions.
Right. I understand that there's layers to what I'm asking. But the point I'm trying to get across is the WWE is trying to trace a unicorn that they caught one time in the mid-90s. And they keep trying to trace it. It's like
they keep trying to catch lightning in a bottle again, and it's not going to happen the way it did with Austin and McMahon. It's not going to happen.
It's like an addict going after that high.
Yes, chasing the dragon.
You're chasing the dragon. You're never going to catch it, even because that one time is the first time you use it is the only time you're ever going to get to that high. Every time
you're trying to get to that high, like every single time.
So we're in the middle of another Authority angle, and we're playing with 10-cent parts, dime store. And I'm not saying these people are not talented, besides Corbin. But
oh damn, shade!
But you're asking square pegs to go into the ultimate round holes.
I will say this much: going back pre Mania 30, they to a degree, caught it with Daniel and H and
Yes, that
H / Steph. But it wasn't too like the.
and with Daniel, you had the crossover appeal that Austin had. You had people on the train coming back from Mania doing the yes chant. You had people at stadiums doing the yes chant. Daniel Bryan authentically did cross over.
Yes.
So, and I wish
And I've
WWE would have run with that at the time, because that would have been the closest they've ever gotten.
And that's that would, and I'll get to the present in a minute, but that's the closest they've ever become to redoing Austin McMahon was Daniel Bryan and Authority, because you have to include Steph in this. That would be the closest they ever. But then you have to, Daniel's injuries, Daniel's problems, Triple H not being quote unquote prime Triple H, like it was pretty much doomed from the beginning in hindsight.
Yeah. And not only that, you had Stephanie being probably the best heel in the program, but you can't touch Stephanie. Can't put your hands on her. So you've immediately taken away in that instance the whole point of running that kind of storyline. The heel getting their comeuppance physically. Because we all remember what happened.
You can look, but you can't touch. You keep dreaming on the stars above.
Oh, good grief!
Put him on mute. Put him on mute again.
Well, I don't know how many weeks. Okay, so we're gonna have to start introducing. Well, we won't even have to. Former co-host Metal Matt.
So, I mean, but like I said, here we are again with a Baron Corbin and a group of, bad guys trying to get over on baby faces. And then we've added on to the added layer of Alexa Bliss now running the Raw Women's Division. And what's the first thing she does? An open panel with Sasha and Bayley where a Planet fan gets to ask a question.
Real quick, going back, and I'm sorry about this, but going back to...
It's your show, do what you want.
I can't tell. Sounds like it's your show. Bad joke.
Okay, let's get back on track, guys. Come on.
Okay. Even John Cena, coming out of the Attitude Era, John Cena might be the biggest actual crossover star. Even he, whatever storyline they put him in, the storyline never really translated into Austin McMahon stuff. Like, even then.
Especially when they tried to do authority shit with John Cena.
Yeah.
Because we all know, it's like, wait, I'm supposed to buy that John Cena's fighting the man? John, you are the man. You are the glass ceiling. You're the guy who everybody has to get to. I was supposed to buy you having this feud with the boss? No.
Yeah, it just... Not discrediting his crossover appeal, just in wrestling relation terms. Like, no, there was never that. Again, I stick to, since Austin McMahon, Daniel Bryan and Authority is the only thing that's come close to successfully being able to replicate that. buried under a pile of chairs, and I'll just leave it at that. So what's next, guys?
I mean, do you want to touch on that whole stuff with Alexa? Because I'm just.
Oh yeah, that's what you were talking about.
Go for it.
Oh, like I mean, really, it's a lot of the same complaints that we just had. I mean, it's a authority storyline just with the women.
Yeah, and I think I've said this before on the show. I don't think the women really need an authority figure. I don't know. Just for me, it just brings back bad TNA memories.
And I think and not to speak for you, but I think what you mean is like a separate authority figure.
Right, like a division authority figure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like when they do that. Like, I didn't like it when TNA did it with the women. I didn't like it when they did it with the cruiserweights with Drake Maverick. I didn't like it when they did it with Mick Foley on Saturday Morning Slam back in the day. I just do not like when they have authority figures for certain divisions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I understand why they're doing it because she's not.
Oh yeah, totally.
Clear.
We're gonna need a bigger boat because we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and I understand they're also trying to get some heat going for Bailey and Sasha, but they've been dead for so long.
Yeah. And not only that, like I get why they're keeping Alexa on TV, but if there is one person on their roster who desperately needs a break from WTV, it's Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, why couldn't Alexa go home and just heal?
Right.
Now, staying on screen and healing. Spelled differently, but same.
Oh, I'm not angry at you. I'm just angry at myself. I left that white open.
Sure. It's almost like you're preparing for Mike McCarthy to become the next Browns coach.
Do you want me to leave? Because I'll leave. You're just going to hear me sobbing on the other side of the computer.
Hey, let's segue or walk or mosey or meander over to SmackDown Live.
Who's that?
I can't get anything on my TV now. You don't use your.
Well, the SmackDown started up with the contract signing for the TLC Triple Threat match. And it was a pretty good segment, I think. Oh, I have no clue what Charlotte is supposed to be at this point in time.
Yeah, Taker mentioned that going back to Alexa is not going to heal up because he believes she's done with her in-ring stuff.
I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, apparently she's training for a comeback. So yeah. I mean, I don't know.
She's just trying with Mike
It could go either way. Maybe it just depends on how bad the concussions is and how many she has.
And she just, I mean, there's video of her taking bumps and stuff with Mike Quackenbash.
The Quack Pack.
Quack Pack.
And like I said, when I saw those pictures, if Alexa can't improve in-ring from working with Mike Quackenbush, then I don't think the in-ring is ever going to happen for her.
The in-ring happened for her a long time ago, sir. Now I'm going to go cry in the car.
You're already in the car.
Thank you. You got the joke.
Oh.
Jackass.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll be the one to say it, because before I say it, At Fireman6809 on Twitter. Send all the hate this way. Asuka just, and half of her promo during this segment said more in Japanese that nobody or a lot of people didn't even understand than Charlotte did in English. I'll say it. Charlotte is such a boring promo.
Yeah.
We've been saying it for years. Charlotte does not need to be in the middle of that ring cutting promos. I understand that's a part of the game, but her best stuff has always come pre-taped. So she can work on it, get her inflections right, get her character right, get her wording right. So that way she can come across.
I thought this was a promo. Sorry.
Yeah, something like that.
I try.
She needs that extra attention. But if we're just gonna keep throwing her out there, then that's what you're gonna get. At least they made Asuka look like a badass at the end of the day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Asuka won out of this segment. Like,
she was close. She was close, but no one can outdo the man.
Again, can we mute him?
no bias or anything.
None.
But just what little bit she said and her and since apparently the SmackDown viewers were like pretty much all-time low, like a lot of people weren't able to or didn't see it, but that's what got me. Like, I don't speak Japanese, like I don't Mandarin, you know, I have no idea what she's saying. She doesn't need, I don't need to understand the words she's saying for her to convey a message to me.
A lot of her best work comes from her mannerisms.
Yes.
So who cares?
She portrays what she's saying.
Right. It's not what she's saying, it's how she's saying it.
Well, Taker, he's come back and said that Asuka's a badass and that she will be champion after TLC.
Man.
After TLC could be a long time. Like, we have years after TLC.
Oh. You and your technicalities.
Well, and that's the best way to be.
Technically right. I don't disagree with Taker.
I can see it happening. I don't want it to, but I can see it happening.
I think the best
well, as Taker, or shit, he's listening. Why do you feel Asuka wins here, and where do you see it going leading into the Rumble? And then we'll talk while he responds.
I could see them putting the belt on Asuka, so that way the belt can go be away from what's coming down the road. And we all know what's coming down the road. Horsewoman versus horsewoman. It's coming sooner than you think. And the WWE doesn't need the titles hung up in that. It's going to carry itself.
You and I a great discussion about this Tuesday night that I wish would have been live.
As much as I don't want to see Becky without the strap because she's doing so well with it, but what you're going into doesn't need belts.
I mean, if they want to piss off some people by taking the belt off Becky, then yeah, go for it. Which, like considering the past few years, you know what, it would not surprise me.
I mean, I can understand them keeping the belt on Becky just as much as I can understand them taking it off her and putting it on Asuka.
Okay, the response to your question is saying that Ronda versus Becky just may be at the Rumble, and therefore Becky does not need the belt for the title match. That would be the norm.
That doesn't really make sense.
I don't think they'd run Ronda
It's
Becky.
not happening at Rumble.
I could see it happening, but I do think that it does end up at WrestleMania, maybe.
The money right now is that being the Mania main event. Either Ronda Becky or Ronda Charlotte Becky. But that's the main event. You could run Ronda Charlotte again at the Rumble.
But you have to realize that if you're talking like Charlotte, Becky, and like Ronda, like how do we get from TLC and even my time now because it's Saturday? How do we get from that at TLC in a week to same brand in a month from now?
Well, if you're going to run Ronda Becky at the Rumble, Becky's winning the Women's Rumble. I mean, Ronda Becky at Mania.
I was about to, damn.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, Becky's winning the Rumble. No matter what happens with the Mixed Match Classic and who comes in at number 30, if you're running Ronda Becky at Mania, Becky's winning the Rumble. So really the question is, how do you get from the Rumble to Mania?
Yes, I was counterpointing something on the, but yeah, that not too much is going to happen at TLC. It's all leading up to matches at Royal Rumble and the Royal Rumble themselves, leading into Mania.
Right.
And despite contrary belief, WWE knows where their bread is buttered, and it's not this time of year.
It's right after the first of the year.
Yes.
We are a car on the highway, and the exit sign for the road to WrestleMania is coming up.
And everybody point at it.
Yep, you got to point at the sign. So everybody point at it wherever you are. Point at the sign.
What if I don't want to point at the sign?
Then fine.
Enjoy catering.
Hey, they do have good catering.
It sounds like somebody that would know.
Shut up. But that's really where we're at. So one of two things is happening at TLC. Either Becky's keeping the belt, or I think Asuka's taking the belt. There's no scenario where I see Charlotte leaving with the belt. And now that I put that, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so just WWE formula, whether it's Charlotte or Asuka, because we have to have this GD rematch clause. If it's not Becky retaining, okay, so at Royal Rumble we get the rematch of Becky versus Asuka or Becky versus Charlotte. Because, that's just set in stone.
You know what? I don't think you'd get it at the Rumble. I think you'd get it at the speed bump on the road to WrestleMania, which is it used to be back.
That's after the Rumble, sir.
Right.
Okay, well,
what
they've
I'm
got to
saying.
do something.
Well, the Rumble sets itself up.
Oh, yeah, the Rumble says itself. But you can't have somebody drop a title the month before, in WWE thinking, and not
Have them immediately get the rematch.
yes, like that's just how the last few years how they've booked programs, pay-per-views.
Well,
Got to get that rematch in.
Yeah.
but if you want to get Becky and excuse me, Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania, Becky's going to have to switch brands.
Yes.
And that's not happening this year. Unless the
Becky
point
wins.
0.00000000001% chance that they want one women's championship, and it's Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. Becky versus Ronda is not happening at WrestleMania.
I think it is.
I mean, somebody's got to save Raw.
Damn.
He's absolutely right. Someone's going to have to walk into that Roman-sized hole and try to fill it. Right now, stop it. You have to try to walk into that void and try to fill it. The only person who I can see doing that is Becky.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase where I was coming from. You can have Ronda versus Becky. It's not going to be what, as it stands now, it's not going to be that kind of match.
I think Ronda Becky is going to happen at Mania in the main event for the Raw Women's Championship because Becky has chosen to, by virtue of winning the Women's Rumble, to wrestle Ronda for her belt. In order for that to happen, Becky has to lose her belt. The best place for her to lose her belt will be at TLC.
So much for tender love and care.
Right? Where's the TLC in that, man? Come on.
But yeah, like in all seriousness, as much as I don't want to admit it, you're right. She probably does need to lose her title.
Because to me, it's short-term loss for a big long-term gain. So
yeah, but we know how WWE is at the long term.
Yeah, you're right. You can't predict WWE, but to me, that's what the way it sets up to me right now. 5 months from now could be something totally different, and we could be looking back at this going, "How dumb are we?"
Light bulb. It's going to be Heath Slater and Ronda Rousey in a mixed challenge match against Kurt Hawkins and Becky Lynch on the pre-show.
Oh,
I know I hate myself. You don't have to say you hate me. I hate myself.
you just for speaking that into the universe, you should go ground yourself.
I'm digging my hole now, sir.
So how is everybody liking crazy Daniel Bryan?
I'm over Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, damn. Before I get my answer, Adam.
I I think this is some of his best promo work in a while. But the Seattle grunge look, it seems like he's trying to play a very turned up, stereotypical Daniel Bryan.
Aberdeen, sir. Aberdeen.
Look, I know where he's from, but everyone equates that look with Seattle. Leave me alone.
I'm just saying, Aberdeen is from where Kurt Cobain was from.
Yeah, I can't get into this whole like environmental heel character.
So you mean Daniel Bryan in real life?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that like people are just now seeing or starting to see. There have been some that have. Daniel Bryan's cover your ears for a moment, AA, because I don't like using words like this. I will fuck this and shit that all day long. But Daniel Bryan is, or Bryan Danielson is a douche. He really is. Like he is such the person you don't want to be next to shopping or in a line shopping or
He's
I don't
the
do
guy. He's the guy at the party you don't want to start a conversation with.
Yeah.
Because
Like, hey, what's your name? Oh fuck, I regret this already.
Plus, I have to say this for Mattdsm. He made Mela cry.
Yeah. See, you're a horrible person.
It's like I said, the promos have been fine. And his one-liner, I hope my daughter grows up to kick every guy in the groin. That's funny.
And this is where like staring into the skid works of like he and I don't want to just discredit Bryan Danielson as a person. Like he's I pretty much like I haven't seen any reports of like arrested or like domestic violence stuff. But he just seems like one of those people that nah, like say for instance I won the lottery and somehow got his house next door to him. Like, nope, you're my neighbor and all, but let me see what my other neighbors are like because you're a dick.
Don't get me wrong, I think going in this direction with him as a heel, I think is smart because it allows him to kind of be himself a little bit more than
100%. 100%.
But I mean, I understand when people say this guy is kind of a turnoff because he's that guy, and everyone knows that guy, that vegan guy in your office who can't shut up about how he's eating sticky tofu because it's better for the environment than the cheeseburger you're eating because you're a selfish, earth-hating person. No,
we've all been on the work lunch break, and we've all had that guy ahead of us that is ordering stuff and what does it have this because I'm vegan. Well I want this, but does it have? He's that guy that orders like, okay, fine, give me the tofu burger.
was this cow? Was this ever near a cow who had a bad day? Because
like, did a cow ever seen this kale like growing? Because if so,
that's too close to the cow.
Yeah. Did this cow manure ever help This head of lettuce.
I'm sorry. Was this was this dude a chicken who got looked at the wrong way? And meanwhile, I'm standing behind this person like, I hope that chicken had a family and I get to eat it.
Meat is delicious, delicious murder.
But like we said, but it's a perfect heel character.
Oh,
And-
definitely. Oh, I'm not.
And I hope his run with the belt is far more interesting than what we just came off of, which was over nearly 250 days of meh, of just bland AJ Styles. So
I can't really say bland AJ Styles. That is literally on. Net shot, net shot, net shot, net shot.
yeah, it did get kind of repetitive, but so let's hope for a more interesting world title scene on SmackDown.
And I'll say this much. Yes, I don't know him personally, but Daniel Bryan, comes across to me as somebody like, nope. Like, hey, here's a Christmas party invitation. Like, nope. But at the same time, wrestling related, like he's getting the heel heat that he should be getting, kind of thing. Like, oh my God, you're a dick. Like,
And he's going to get some great heel heat in certain areas of the country.
What were you going to say, Matt?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying something.
Oh, I was going to say, at least I do know the next show that AJ Styles is going to be on after that Daniel Bryan match. There's going to be a guy dressed up as a clown. He's going to kick AJ Styles in the nuts. He's like, sir, look at the camera. You're on kick with the nuts.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was our Family Guy reference for the night. I want to say something potentially controversial. Bit of a hot take, if you will. Is anyone else starting to tire of the SmackDown tag scene?
Oh, I got tired of that a long time ago.
Ditto.
Because as great as those matches are with the Bar and the Usos and the New Day, seen enough.
Yeah.
These three teams have jumped the shark. This isn't Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys. Because even they had a shelf life.
Yeah.
So can we move on to something else? Anything.
this isn't even like when Lift Shark went rogue during the halftime performance of the Super Bowl a few years ago. This is like, please,
This
no
is
more.
Fonzie.
No moss. No moss.
No must throw in the towel. Because I'm ready to see the Big E singles run. I'm ready to see the Xavier Woods singles run. They can
Sir,
both.
are you new to wrestling? Because he had a long singles run.
I'm not talking about Consequences Creed and or Big E Langston. I'm talking about the guys we have now. Because they weren't the guys we saw then.
In my defense, I was coming back inside to the BWP studios and yeah.
Fine.
Anyway,
I'm just ready to see what these guys can do standing out there on their own. Because we've seen their charisma, we've seen their talent, we know they're great on the mic. They all have the ability to go out there and be great single stars. But for some reason, we're still doing this New Day stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I've said this before. Like, you don't necessarily need to break them up.
No.
Just have them sort of go on their own for a bit. Like, still have them be a unit from time to time, but just have them do their own thing.
Kind of like the APA.
Completely agree.
I mean, there was a point in 2001 where Jeff won the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jeff and the Hardys still teamed.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Not every singles run has to be at the cost of breaking up a faction or a tag team.
correct.
I mean, that let Biggie go, let them disperse amongst where they find themselves in the card, but at the same time, like there's you don't have to do a chair shot 2014 every fucking time to get to that point.
There's nothing to see here. Please disperse.
You asshole.
To me, they missed a big opportunity by not letting Xavier Woods win the U.S. title.
Yeah,
Because I
totally.
think that could have been a huge star-making opportunity.
Yeah, they really need to do something with the United States title because it's pretty much been in limbo since I don't even know how long.
I know how long. Since Shinsuke Nakamura won the damn thing.
Oh, it was well before that, sir.
Even before
It
that.
was well before that. Yeah. But and see, that's all it takes. And I'm sorry for getting.
It's been like that for years, really.
I'll calm down for a minute, but give them one singles championship, US or IC, and give them one, and let them flesh out the. Okay, we can't, freebird this, or even freebird it. Who gives a shit, really? I mean, apparently, creative doesn't. Let that one person win, and then okay, but let them remain New Day. And you're United States champion. Cool. It's a New Day. Yes, it is.
Well,
but don't break them up. Go ahead, A.
Taker just came up with, but that is what's going to happen with Big E when it's time for his singles run.
I could see it happening. Like Big E, doing a big heel turn on New Day.
Because
but it's necessary.
But Mox, we all know, is because supposedly what we call creative is devoid of just that creativity. A heel turn is going to happen, and they're going to split the team up because, by God, we can't have anything nice.
Are you relating that to the Browns coordinators or?
Son of a bitch. No, I'm not, jerk. But like I said, and we can keep harping on the topic, but the New Day have run their course in the tag division.
Yeah. The obvious answer to that and the obvious rebuttal, the New Day moves merch. The New Day makes money.
Well, that's why you don't break them up.
Exactly. That's why I said it's a rebuttal. Like you don't. I mean, you could do. I mean, seriously, if you're pouring cereal into a kid's mouth on the way to the ring, or pancake like you're trying to choke kids or fans. Like, isn't that kind of hillish enough?
No, it's when they have their own set of rules for a match.
We're not
Oh,
Lucha fucking house party. Oh God, I'm so tired of Lucha House. Oh,
but Mox, they point vigorously into the air and get the crowd involved. Isn't that enough reason to let them have their own rules?
no.
Oh,
And I'll put myself out there. And the last, let's say, month, show me a clip of where the crowd was doing the lucha thing, like the yes chant from damn, it's WrestleMania 30 and way back when. Damn, we're only 5 years removed.
Yeah,
Show
but
me that
Taker is
happening.
saying that LHP they rock.
I think Taker's trying to make us.
Yeah. Antagonistic.
Of
You know what?
course.
I don't like Trollish Taker. He makes my head hurt. With Lucha House Party, I understand they're trying to do something different. And by rights,
Hell.
different. But it's. How are they baby faces?
Exactly. I was about
Yeah.
to say, like, how are they the face in this situation? Lucha has rules. Oh, 3-2, and we're supposed to root for the 3-on-2. How so?
I get this is a part of. I mean, if you're new to this is stuff that happens down in Mexico. The Lucha Libre tag rules. But
It's not working here.
you know what? They're not explaining that.
Exactly. Like there is no explanation.
Cable box. So
Honestly, like what it reminds me of, I don't know if any of you played SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, but there was a storyline in the career mode where MVP, William Regal, and Umaga all formed their own country called Better Than Utopia, and they had their own rules to go with it. Like I think for them it was like no DQ, and in order to beat them, you had to get a pinfall of the count of 5. That's what this reminds me of.
Do you know what that is? That is so absurd that no one would take it seriously.
Hey, we took Big E seriously in NXT, sir.
But all Big E and NXT was doing was a variation of King Kong Bundy.
Well, yeah, but I'm just
But
sorry.
at
Yeah,
least
but Big E didn't do much when he had the IC title.
That his NXT run was the whole thing was 3's not enough. I need 5.
it was a variation of Bundy going 5, 5, count to 5. And that's what Big E was doing. This is blatant disregard for the rules because you want there to be blatant disregard for the rules?
Right. And again, like Matt said, and we've all thought, and we've said time and time again, and they're supposed to be faces? Like, no, that's hill stuff all the way.
Would be a shame if you actually let the revival, be something, wouldn't it?
Oh, heaven forbid.
Because, reasons. I've never. Let's pour
I was
one
gonna
out.
say something that would be completely taken out of context, so I won't. I'll keep my. Oh, I almost popped off with something that. Yeah, we'll just move along.
Go on. I want to hear this.
No, dude, like literally,
Yeah, it's just this is the kind of frustrating booking that just makes you want to turn off TV because the lucha guys aren't acting like baby faces. And so if you're presenting me guys I'm supposed to cheer for, and they're doing things in direct opposition to that, what are you telling me?
You're telling me that WWE screwed the pooch on many of the superstars from NXT.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
it goes beyond the scope of the superstars from NXT. It just, and you guys know me, like I'm always the. But sometimes you just can't say, oh well, they're trying. Like no, sometimes there's no rebuttal, no counterpoint, there's no just insert Consuela, no give here, no.
Yeah.
Matt, let's completely like. How was MLW this week? Major League Wrestling.
Oh, well, I can talk about last week as well.
Well,
Go on.
No, I was saying, go ahead.
Oh, last week was Tommy Dreamer versus Brian Pillman Jr. in a really disappointing match. Like this match was not good at all.
Could it be because we have nearly 50-year-old Tommy Dreamer again stepping into a ring for no reason to wrestle a young person?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I don't know how this could have gone wrong because it seems like it could be at least a decent match. I don't know if it's because Dreamer's just too old at this point, or because I saw that Bill Pillman Jr. was wearing a bracelet, isn't he? Maybe he was like injured or coming back from an injury, or if just Pillman Jr. is just a bit too green. Like I don't know. Like just the match just didn't work.
Tommy Dreamer is 47 years old and has more injuries than I know how to count. I know he shouldn't need the money. Maybe this is just because.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer at this point is, in every career and life, you have I love it so much, I can't give it up. Whether it's playing football, coaching football, wrestling, it's not the money, it's just in its blood per se.
Well, you might have to get that checked.
I mean,
Damn.
but it's getting tough to watch it. And
At times, yeah.
It's been tough to watch him for many years now. We all know the dude's literally a concussion away from a wheelchair. But he still does it. I admire the passion, but I wonder about the logic.
Yeah.
But what happened next? Sorry, go ahead, Max.
He's in the middle of like getting up to pee in the middle of the night from wheelchair.
Yeah. But what happened next, Matt?
Well, the main event last week on MLW was the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Phoenix, defending the MLW Tag Team titles against El Hijo, LA Park, and LA Park. And that was a pretty good match.
LA Park. You make me smile.
Chairman of the board.
What about chairman of the board?
Well, Parka.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that god awful Carrot Top movie.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about Frank Sinatra.
Oh, good grief. Okay, so now there's 3 people I need to unfriend, unfollow.
Words hurt, sir.
Oh, let's go Browns? Is that a suffice? We're friends again?
You didn't say it like you meant it,
You know, because there's definitely a question mark at the end.
jerk. So, how about this week's episode of MLW, Matt?
This one was pretty good. It started off with Jason Cade taking on Teddy Hart. And there was also a vignette with Pillman Jr. and Teddy Hart where they go and visit the HQ of Pro Wrestling Tees. They were in Chicago. This is the final portion of the Fightland event that took place in November. And it ended with Pillman Jr. stuffing the House of Hardcore shirt down his pants.
You better put some respect on Teddy Hart's name. That's Natalia's friend.
Oh, that was the greatest piece of shade ever.
And I think they should, if nobody gets that reference, Teddy Hart was on Total Divas. If I know what episode, a while back, like a couple months ago or a month ago or whatever, and they didn't even call him Teddy Long. Theodore Long, or did they call him Teddy Long?
No, Teddy Hart.
Teddy Hart, but didn't they? They didn't call on the little subcaption. They didn't call him Teddy Long or Teddy Hart.
They called him Ted. Or
Ted
Teddy.
Hart, yes, Ted Hart, and on the caption, the subcaption of the caption was Natalia's friend. They call him Ted Hart, and
As if no one could
shade, so much shade.
As if no one could put together who that was and how he's related to Natty.
Yeah, Ted Hart, Natalia's friend.
I guess if you don't watch wrestling and aren't familiar with the extended Hart family, and you're just watching Total Divas because it's reality television, I could see where you might miss that. But to anybody else, that is perfection.
I mean, for 200,000 people that watch.
Right.
Surely they all, like, out of the percentage out of the 200,000 that are watching Total Divas, out of the 200,000 or whatever it was, their viewership low, surely most of those are wrestling fans. But yeah, for those couple that don't know, like, hey, Ted Hart, oh, that's Natty's friend.
But after Teddy Hart, what happened next, Matt?
Cade and Hart was a pretty good match. I wish they would do something with Jason Cade. I really do.
There's always an opportunity to make a star. You just have to take it.
Yeah, but it was a pretty good match. Then up next was Marco Stunt versus Ace Romero. And it went about as well as you would imagine.
Anybody want to elaborate on that, or we all pretty much know what that
No,
means?
it's one of those matches where, why are we doing these kind of spots for the sake of spots? Kind of, don't mean to speak for Matt, but Yeah.
I mean, there weren't really any like insane spots or anything.
Oh
like
no,
that.
it gets worse later, but
So it was basically an indie-rific match.
Kind of, sort of. They didn't really take like any super insane bumps or anything like that. But at the same time, it sort of went how you would expect it to be. Like, Marco Stunt keeps trying to like actually pick up Ace Romero, and Ace Romero is he's a big old boy, like he's a horse, so he can't quite do it. And so the match sort of revolved around that. And Ace Romero did end up getting the win.
now every time, whether it's not live or just a hangouts, I need Metal Matt to say "big old boy." That just happened. It happened. It needs to happen in my life. I just need to hear. He's a big old boy. I just need to. That needs to happen.
Think be a good time to mention that we had a couple of passings this week in our world of professional wrestling. Earlier this week, Tom Billington, better known as the Dynamite Kid, or Kid Dynamite if you're in Japan, passed away.
Larry
First
the
week,
Inning.
and later this week, actually yesterday, the news broke that Larry the Axe Hennig, the patriarch of the Hennig family of professional wrestling, also passed away. And if you want to talk about two giants and for totally different reasons, you're looking at them. Dynamite Kid was the first small guy who got over on a major level. He was the best small guy wrestler you ever saw. Before guys like Michaels and Benoit came around. Benoit, especially, who basically patterned himself after Dynamite Kid. But Dynamite Kid was a. I mean, it didn't matter if he was wrestling singles or if he was with the Bulldogs. He was great.
He really was. And I'll say, we all have demons. I myself have a lot of demons. Not to the degree, but if a lot of things you see in wrestling today, and if you're not aware of what Dynamite Kid did in the ring, a lot of what you see today is some way fashioned upon of Dynamite Kid.
Dynamite Kid, we wouldn't have guys, and I understand they wrestle different styles, but
The flippy shit mantra,
yeah,
he made the flippy shit mantra.
there wouldn't have been a Styles, there wouldn't have been a Bryan, there wouldn't have been a Benoit, there wouldn't have been a Michaels, there wouldn't have been, a Hart if there wasn't a Dynamite Kid.
And yes, there's a lot of disparity of Dynamite Kid in the ring and Billington as a person.
Yes.
And I get both sides. But if we're just looking at Dynamite Kid, because this isn't the kind of podcast that gets into the kind of that stuff on the personal. If we just focus on Dynamite Kid, he is in just in case people didn't understand what I just said, like in ring, like, oh, you can do that. Oh, you can do that safely, not just for me, but for my opponent. Like he is, yeah, he personal life, not somebody you really
I
want.
mean, let's not sugarcoat it.
It was
Too
an
much.
ass.
Tom Bellington, the human being, was a trash human being to the highest order. He became someone bitter at the world. Not just bitter at the world, but he was also a domestic abuser. This was not a good person. But that aside, you want to talk about one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step foot in the ring? You're talking about the Dynamite Kid. And if you don't believe me, please go find his matches with Tiger Mask from Japan. They will blow you away. The guy he had a gear that no one else had. And a style only he could wrestle.
And the generation we're seeing now, and even before now, since
I mean, like
I'm
I said,
getting older, I'm getting older. Days are going faster. Like even maybe a generation before myself, like people were replicating his moves and trying to be Dynamite Kid. Like, oh, he can do that. Oh, let me try it.
I mean,
It's just in ring wrestling persona. Leave the what I think of him.
aside,
Yeah, leave that aside. And damn, he was innovative. He was innovative. I'll just leave it at that. He was innovative. Like, oh, you can do this. It's the crowd's gonna pop, and I'm doing it safely, and I can do this, and my opponent's gonna be safe. But it looked fucking awesome.
you just
That
didn't
was
want to
Dynamite
miss
Kid.
it. Yeah. And although a little before my time, I do want to mention the Axe and what he means to professional wrestling. I mean, we can point out the obvious. No Larry the Axe Hennig, no Mr. Perfect. But
Yes.
that would be a discredit to the wrestler and the legacy of Larry Hennig.
I'll not to interrupt you, and I apologize for doing so. Just straight up right now, in the time, where do you think Axel got his name from?
Right. Curtis Axel is a play on his father's real name and his grandfather's his grandfather's kayfabe nickname.
Yes, Curtis Axel is a shoot Kurt Hennig and Larry the Axe Hennig name. It's a combination. Curtis Axel. So surely anybody listening to this knows at least who Curtis Axel is.
It's, I mean, Larry the Axe was a major territory star.
He was a territory star before anybody knew what territories were.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like the insiders knew before there were insiders. Like, okay, you have this territory, I have this. Like they knew, but before you had the dirt sheets and the he was territory before territory became a thing. in wrestling fan speak.
I mean, he was a tough guy. He's
Oh yeah,
6'5", 320. He trained by Gagne, wrestled pretty much. It's almost. I mean, his home base was the AWA in the '60s, and he won tag titles there. Wrestled in Amarillo. Uh, Wrestled the Bruiser and the Crusher and beat them to win the AWA tag titles. I mean, Larry Hennig was a star of the highest order in the Midwest.
yeah,
also,
and I got to see a couple times in Mid South and Gillies. He wasn't really wrestling. He participated to the best of my memory. I remember seeing him, I think, a couple times, like he would actually be involved, but there were more than a couple times where he would just be there, and he was a name that just by being there drew.
yeah, I mean, and here's one of the cool things. He won 4 AWA World Tag Titles. You want to know who his partner was for 3 of those title reigns? It was Harley Race. So you're talking about, I mean, just to be able to stand on a card with Harley Race is a big deal. He was teaming with him, and
Yeah.
in a very cool fact, he also managed to win a tag title up there in the Pacific territory with his son. Him and Kurt won a tag title together. And when you bring up Kurt, you bring up Perfect and his unfortunate passing. And I hope no one ever has to go through what Larry Hennig had to do and bury his son.
Yeah.
Larry had to live with that for, well, my God, how long has Kurt been gone? 20 years?
Not quite that long, but close enough.
So, he had to live the last 15, 20 years in his life without his son being here. But he also got to see his grandson make the WWE and win a Intercontinental Championship. So, Larry Hennig had a full life, died at the age of 82 from renal failure. But, rest in peace to both gentlemen. I hope Larry is with his son again, and I hope Dynamite Kid finds the peace that he never found here on Earth.
Thank you so much for what you said about Dynamite Kid.
But that weeks like this are tough as a professional wrestling fan, because it's another reminder that the history of the business is slowly fading away with each passing. So be sure to find those matches and learn about them, so that way you can share in this world and how great it has been. Because once these guys pass away, the stories pass with them, and they fade a little bit.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility as new fans to try to keep some of that alive.
And just wrestling related, I think I've done a good job with that, with Morris, of keeping wrestlers that have passed. But he knows, like Andre the Giant, well before his time. He knows who they are. He knows. I'll try to my best ability of showing my son enough that maybe when I go, Lord knows, because when I was his age, there was no internet, there was no stuff like this, but maybe he will. Hey, my dad showed me this when I was a kid, so that kind of thing, and it's not rhetoric. It's I want you to know what when I was your age or younger than you. Not what made me tick, but like, hey, don't. And that's not just wrestling specific. That's for anything, like across the board. And it's after, at least my time. It's not quite after Pacific time, but December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Like, don't let that shit just go. Like, talk to the younger audience.
And I did just want to bring up, just because I think it's important to bring up anytime something, wrestling for a world title is a big deal. And Hennig did get that opportunity. He did end up going to New York, and he wrestled San Martino.
Yes.
Which is a big deal. Big deal.
Big deal. It's not like, well, now you can't even really say it anymore for current WWE. But back then, if you're wrestling for the world title, I don't want to say you made it per se, but
you kind of made it.
Well, you made it, but you're maybe you haven't made it per se, but okay, you're somebody, you're going somewhere. They didn't just do random, hey, we got to fill the card, or we're gonna do this random segment on Raw, or like, no. If back in the day, if you were fighting for the championship, like, that meant a lot.
Wrestling, I mean, I don't think fans today grasp it, and we can tie this back into modern wrestling real quick, just sort of as a end segment, or if you guys want to keep talking, we can.
Do we even still have Matt and Hey?
I'm here.
Have we
I'm
bored
still
them?
here.
Have we bored them to death yet?
We just completely went off on our own tangent. Sorry, guys.
But I don't want to tie this into a package. So Larry Hanna getting to go to New York City and wrestle San Martino in the Garden, that was a big deal because that took time and planning and execution that in a care that frankly we don't see today. I mean, just a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, we had a title change. Daniel Bryan beat AJ Styles. But does that victory resonate with anybody? Did that match mean anything outside of the title change?
His Twitter handle is PWFan01. Hate mail his way.
Yeah, but seriously.
I know.
I know what you're trying to do, and that is deflect blame. But wrestling has lost stakes. There are no stakes anymore. It used to mean something to wrestle the world champion.
And
well, I mean, if there's no stakes anymore in wrestling, Daniel Bryan will be happy about that.
If there's no stakes anymore, Matt beat me to the punch. If there's no stakes anymore, I guess we just eat chicken, or damn it.
That pun was so bad, but so good. I still cringed, but it was so good. But where are and I'll open this up to the floor. Why has wrestling lost that importance? Why doesn't wrestling take care of itself the way it used to?
I think because there's no real major competition anymore.
Well, that's not true because I see what you're saying, but it's across the board for people that aren't even trying to compete with WWE. It's
Well,
I think we're in a can I and excluding AA, can I give ages real quick?
sure.
Matt, you cool with that?
Sure.
Okay. I turned 40 and well now it's less than a week. Adam is 28. Matt is 23.
I'm 54.
Oh shit! I wasn't gonna say it, but well, damn it, AA.
You threw him off. But go ahead.
But there, damn it, AA. They're like even the, and no offense to you guys, like none at all intended. Like 28 and 23, 40 and shit. She said it. 54. There's 4 of us on this conversation. And even the 23 and 28-year-old get what wrestling used to be versus what it is now, and it is lacking. At least let's just call a spade, and WWE wise, like there's no. Shit. This is where I know word good because besides AA, I was, not to like, oh, I'm old, ha ha ha. Like, I was watching wrestling before you guys were alive. Like, and I just don't get the lack of like it's a very simple like going way back an hour ago. Like it's a very simple formula. Like it's very pretty much easy.
There has been a.
And now I've just AA throwing her age out. Just I have no idea what I was talking about anymore.
I think. Go ahead, AA.
I'm just saying, biggest part is it's lacking any competition. There's no competition like there was between the territories anymore.
Well, I would go out on them and say the territories were not competing with each other. The NWA guys weren't competing with each other. It was a conglomerate. It was a corporation in its own right. Sure, you wanted to do better than the guy next door, but because you knew you had defined territories, you weren't directly competing with anybody.
In my lifetime, the dynamic of wrestling has changed. What 5 to 6 times? Just in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, you were, like you said, you're 40. Just in 40
You
years.
shut your mouth. That was. Oh, I get that underlying dig. I'm not 40 yet, sir. Give me a week.
You're 39, okay? You're 39 going on 40. 39 going on hearing aids.
How many fucking times do you have to repeat that?
40.
But just in your lifetime, there was the golden age of the territories, then the big 3, the NWA, AWA, WWF, and then WWE, then the national expansion, and then the new big three in WWE, WCW, and ECW, then the invasion and the buyout, and then get the F out with the lawsuit and the WWE, and just me rattling those off, I'm already up to 2 hands. Wrestling has changed so much, and I don't think they ever stopped to go, "Hey, what do we do now?" Because
Yeah.
it was changing every 10 years. So, well, hell, not even 10 years. It felt like every 5 to 6. So I think they've lost their way a bit, and I don't think they can never get it back. I don't want to sound like doom and gloom, but you have to find a way to make what you're presenting on television, and I'm not just talking about WWE here. If you have a wrestling televised product, you have to make that televised product mean something each and every week. And you have to present the people who you want to be meaningful as meaningful players.
Yeah, right. That's why and for a while, like was more until what just happened this week with New Japan. I just want wrestling to be fun again, if that makes sense at all.
Total sense to me.
Like, I just want it to be.
So you want it to be fun again.
Oh God.
In other words, you want it to be iconic.
God, yeah, I knew it was coming.
If wrestling became any more iconic, I'd turn off the television.
Aww.
Hater.
No, yeah, I know. But go ahead, Max.
I just like there's. I don't want to say disconnect, but and obviously I still watch a lot of wrestling. But even when you get to outside of WWE stuff, and that's what AA and I were talking about on the Twitch channel, or trying to talk about.
Trying is the optimum word there.
Yes, I'm falling more in love with the not indie stuff like ROH is indie or New Japan is indie or Progress is like legit just indie stuff of like how I fell in love with wrestling in the first place. Like, okay, there might be 100 or fewer people, sometimes 20 people watching, but just these people, athletes doing this thing just for not for the love of money, but for the love of the game, and it's really reinvigorated my interest in wrestling and it's not about the pyro or the this or that or Twitter wars, or it's about like just break it all down. It's about storyline and get me invested in, and that's very lacking on the major promotions. Yes, there's some good storylines, but there's a lot of bad storylines. I'd rather spend my couple hours watching some Rocky Mountain Pro or BIW Value Independent Wrestling or Heroes of Wrestling, not the pay-per-view, the promotion out of Dallas. I'm to the point where I'd rather watch that than, because New Japan is one of their biggest fans. Like they made me sick with what they did with Best Friends versus Guerrillas of Destiny last night. Like,
Hot,
nope,
hot, hot,
we don't do like unprotected headshots. Like, no.
hot take for those listening and any professional wrestling company that might be ever stumble across this podcast. In the year of our Lord 2018, if you are still doing unprotected headshots with the chair, stop. Stop it immediately.
It's unnecessary.
Because you are opening yourself up to a world of hurt, just from a legal perspective. And I know that's not the most important thing, but let's be real. It's just not smart. And if you're out there wrestling on the indies and you're working with someone who suggested unprotected chair shot as a way to get something over, tell them no. It's your brain. Protect it.
Yeah, it's just an unnecessary. As dumb as some of the higher up promotions, like the back shots, even though sometimes they can be done to a great degree where it looks painful, you know, on the mid shoulder, upper back chair shots. Like sometimes it looks dumb depending on who's doing it. But don't just repeatedly do Rock versus Mankind back in, what was it, 98? 2001?
99.
99. Okay. I was close enough. Don't fucking do that shit. That's just, and like you said, if you're the wrestler and that spot is being contemplated, or like don't okay that. Like you're better than that. Yeah, there's money to be made and whatnot, and I get all the, but when, no, unprotected headshots should, that's a no go. Like don't do that. Promoters shouldn't try to convince a wrestler to do it. Wrestlers should say, hell no, I'm not going to do that. Like, no, just no. I like violence just as, hello, we're on Violent Wrestling Podcast. But that kind of stuff, like, no. You can do chair shots all day long, every day. You can do kendo sticks all day, every day, and get the same visualization, even better because it actually leaves marks on the back or the leg or stomach or whatever. Do that all day, every day. Do not do unprotected headshots with a chair to the head. That's stupid. It's stupid. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. You can get your point across without actually jeopardizing somebody else's life. We've been through so much of head trauma, not just the person dying, but where they've had so much head trauma that things have happened that are the saddest of timelines. Like, no. Straight, unprotected headshots to the head. Like, no. Like, that's a no-go.
I don't want to go back to the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it would seem like every other week another wrestler was dying for some reason or the other. And I understand a lot of that was drug related. But it was probably drug related due to the beatings some of these guys took. And they would just apologize. But it was probably drug related to some of the beatings these guys took. And they were just trying to find a way to relieve their pain. Let's not go back to that.
Yeah, let's. Society show. Wrestling society. Shouldn't we have learned our lesson by now?
And
Shouldn't they have, like, okay, in football, as much precaution as they take, there's still going to be Ryan Shazier moments. There's still going to be moments. It's not somebody. It's not the ref saying, okay, 5 minutes, beat the fucking shit over his head with a chair. No penalties. No. Okay, you're gonna have accidents. You're gonna have. Speaking of which, big up to Shazier because just yesterday he was squatting again, not squatting, like he was squat lifting.
Deadlifting.
Deadlifting. There you go. Sorry. Deadlifting. So big ups to Ryan Shazier. And if you don't know who that is, that was number 50 linebacker for the Steelers, who took a.
Just made a bad tackle.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional or anything. It was just an awkward thing, and he was paralyzed for a little bit, and he's regained. This is going back. What is it? Right out of a year?
Yeah, because it happened during the Bengals Steelers playoff game.
Yeah, so going right out of a year, and now he's on his own, being able to deadlift weights. So, but whoever agents a match that just, again, like, I like the violence. I don't mind the blood, but when you get into like unsafe shit, like no, that's. And I understand, like John Moxley wanting to, how do I get noticed? Like, well, for one, that was John Moxley, what, 10 years ago?
Right.
Like, times have changed. You can do things to get noticed without taking a sawzall to the head.
How did Brody Lee, Luke Harper get noticed?
Yeah, like,
there's a way to do it, people. There's a way to be violent in wrestling without putting another person's long-term mental health in jeopardy. So let's figure it out.
Hey, do you agree with my sentiment?
Yeah, I do.
I'm all for it. I think, like you just said, like you agree with me. Like, we love the violent stuff. We love, like, okay, let's get hardcore, but then there's a line of like, okay, and I'm shaking my fist, or not shaking my fist, but like there's a difference between like, oh, hardcore, and that's too much. Like, that's, and I'm not saying like blood packets, but there's a one way to do it, and then there's like, don't do it this way. You do, okay, for instance, SummerSlam, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar. Do not fucking bust Randy Orton open like that.
Well,
That's just stupid. That was
a shoot elbow from a
You don't-
pro MMA fighter. Yeah, that's smart.
that's stupid. That's stupid as hell. I'm sorry. That's stupid as hell.
I actually just ran across a little bit of late breaking news. Apparently, at a live event tonight for NXT, there's reports that Dakota Kai has potentially been injured.
No.
They were
Oh.
going
I saw that earlier.
just now. I mean, I'm just now saying it. There's talk that there was supposed to be a 6-woman tag match between Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, and Candice LeRae versus the MMA horsewoman Baszler, Duke, and Shafir. Looks like she was going for a one of her running leg moves and hurt her knee potentially. She had to be helped to the back. So keep an eye on that. And also, Kona Reeves also potentially got hurt at the same show after taking a shooting star press from Ricochet. So a couple of injuries to be on the lookout for potentially. The one to Kai obviously being the attention grabber. Hope all is well.
Yeah. The not reading anything, just I don't even want to speculate, so I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna names. It rhymes with Roy Rakeman. I'm not gonna speculate on.
Right. No speculation. Just putting
Yeah.
that out there for those who have not heard. Yeah, but I think that is the alarm bell. And let's go ahead, and unless anybody has something else they desperately want to touch on, I believe we should probably wrap this bad boy up.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
When AA comes for you.
Oh yeah. She's the law. Hey, what do you got?
I don't have anything.
Aren't you going to Rocky Mountain Pro?
On the 15th. And then again on the 28th.
I'll ask a rhetorical question. How excited are you for the 15th show?
Very excited. I'm having withdrawal symptoms.
It's her money and she needs it now.
Oh, you and your timely puns.
Hey, dude, we're sponsored by JG went for it, so I don't want to hear your shenanigans.
Fine.
So, Rice, where can they get a hold of you if they want to?
If you people desperately still want to talk,
Don't. Just don't. He's at Cleveland Browns.
No, I'm not. I'm at PWFan01 on Twitter. If you find the Ohio State logo, you found me. Open to talk about anything and everything. So if you guys want to drop on by, please do. I'm also at KHI Seats under my name on the daily and the nightly. So if anybody wants to stop at anything there, you can come find me. Looking forward to seeing Dwayne Haskins win the Heisman this weekend.
Did he really?
No, I'm just being.
Oh,
honest.
I was about to say, like, that's not till next week.
It's tomorrow. Today.
What?
Whatever.
Some weeks on Friday, sir.
Fine, be that way.
How
Box,
about you, Metal Matt?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at MetalMatt15, and I also hang out on KSIT, hang out in the daily and the nightly. And the nightly, we are wrapping up the Queen retrospective. Tonight, I did the final album with Freddie Mercury when he was still alive, Innuendo, which is a pretty good album. And Sunday is going to be Made in Heaven, and then on Monday, I'm starting a brand new retrospective. I don't want to give away what it is just yet, but I'll just say this.
Judas Priest.
I would just say this: if you are an old school wrestling fan, you're gonna like it. That's all I'll say.
Oh God, we're getting old school wrestling themes.
And what about your podcast?
Oh, and Ruthless Aggression Era podcast. It will be coming back next Friday as the Don Sal Kuzmano will be guest starring as we talk about Bad Blood 2004.
And how about you, Mox?
Who?
shut up.
You can find me at Fireman6809 on Twitter. Email d.carter614@gmail.com. I sound very enthusiastic about this. Yeah, this might be, unless you get to our Twitch channel Wednesday, or if we can get together and do a VWP on YouTube, this might be the last time you hear my voice before the black balloons start falling. So, sad day in Moxville.
Isn't it always a sad day in Moxville?
You can go fuck off, sir. Ain't no bones about it.
I mean, I don't know why you're sad. I mean, aren't the wedding bells ringing?
Now I'm double sad. You're an ass. For those that don't know, my 9-year-old apparently is getting married to his girlfriend. Just waiting for these jackasses to finalize the arrangements, but apparently it's happening.
I thought you were going to say you were waiting for an invitation.
Save the date. Hold on, since we're let me get to a camera. I'll show you what for those that are still with us. Oh, nope, not that. Turn the camera. This is what my son bought Emma for Christmas. It was on her Christmas wish list. And if you can't tell by the picture, this is my vehicle. This
is an 8-foot stuffed animal.
Yes. And yeah. So let's just say
it's getting pretty serious.
You're an ass. I was gonna say that much. I was gonna say that ate into a little bit of his Christmas money. But yeah. And now Miss, and only one person here will get this. I'm Miss Super Up One Queen. Because it reminds me of her. And only Metal Matt will get that.
Yeah. I also saw a lot of Marlboro cigarettes in there, but
oh, so you missed all the beer?
I didn't even see that. I was focused on the Marlboros.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't even know why. I just was.
Well, I think that wraps us up for the evening.
I got to give out my plugs.
Hit the plugs, Allie.
Of course, our plugs. Ruthless Aggression Era podcast. And there's also over on the Twitch channel, Shooting the Breeze, Connoisseurs of Wrestling, Two Guys, One Sport, and Grounds for Development. And don't forget Fizzy's Wacky World out there somewhere. And I think, who am I missing?
Whacked Out Wrestling did their Thursdays. They did theirs last night. Thursday, 12 Eastern or 11 Eastern, 10 Central. It's called Whacked Out Wrestling for a reason. Pretty fun.
So that wraps it up, folks.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Peace.